How to build a career in movie industry in the UK. We're in the British capital. Let's start with how much money they spend their annually on film and their in London. Across the UK, almost £6 billion is spent annually on film and TV production, ranking the third in the world. Most of this money is for projects filmed right here in London and in the surrounding studios. Hollywood studios like Netflix, Amazon and Disney all choose London as an industry's powerhouse containing giant infrastructure and professionals of the highest level. Accordingly, studying and interning here will put you among top-level pros. But how do you get there and where to start your career? First, learn English. Tried but true. I doubt you're Arnold Schwarzenegger to speak like
Hasta la vista, baby.
So you need good English, or at least basic one, which Arnold also had, and he, by the way, studied English at an American school.
I am tired of the same old faces.
Second, you need to complete the right program, and third, do an internship. Just 3 simple steps, but they cover a great distance. To answer all the questions, I'm heading to Central Film School to ask actual film industry professionals working there right now. We're now in the main building. Today I'll be shown some of the studios. We'll also look at the classrooms, and right here you can see what is where. So let's go.
So this room specifically is for color grading. So this is where students will master their films. It's super fast. It has the highest specs that we could possibly get, because this is where students will do final exporting a lot of the time. So
color grading, is it like a part of the subject or a part of filmmaking, or it's like a separate thing you need to learn?
So it's part of the filmmaking program. So students will get to learn probably towards the specialist when they do their specialisms in cinematography a lot of the time, or editing. They will learn how to do color grading properly and how to generate the correct looks for their film, or the looks they're desiring, in the correct fashion. Because color grading is something that is not easy. It's very complicated, really.
So we use international filmmakers, like students, if they were studying painting, would study the masters. So we weave in the master filmmakers, international-based filmmakers, into the program as well. And we also really study short filmmaking. We look at some of the top filmmakers, their very early works. Of course, Tarkovsky, I mentioned his early short films. When he was a student and studying at the Moscow Cinematography School for 6 years, which is a lot longer. I tell students, it's like, that's real masterwork. But also, like Christopher Nolan, we look at his 3-minute film, what you can do with non-sync sound. So using their creativity to push boundaries and challenge conventions. That's the key to developing their own voice, yeah? Not just regurgitating and copying what they've seen.
Over the past 5 years, around £10 billion has been invested in the capital's film industry alone, and again, I'm in London. In London, life is in full swing. Studios, production, post-production, casting, VFX, everything you need for a real big movie. If you're thinking of starting filmmaking, London isn't just any city. It is a 24/7 industry. It provides opportunity to make connections and access a large-scale projects. Central Film School fits perfectly into this giant film ecosystem. Actually, you have the option of trying inexpensive short-term programs that usually take place in the summer. They get to know the basics, and what are you going to learn if, let's say, you haven't even held a camera except for the phone. Practical filmmaking, screenwriting, acting, post-production and VFX. Film directing, virtual production, socially important documentary, film sales and distribution, also important. Now it's finally time to talk about the career, a film career abroad. We'll be looking again at the London film cluster, which has many entry options. We're talking the initial stage, since you won't immediately become Michael Bay or Steven Spielberg. But I believe in you.
What are you waiting for? Do it!
Production, assistant producers, coordinators, line producers, advertising department, camera work, technical staff and pavilions, lighting technicians, makeup, costume, set, logistics, studio managers, pre-production, post-production, creative work, editing, sound, color, VFX, motion design, screenwriters, directors, development producers, the surrounding industry, film lawyers, financiers, marketing, distributions, festivals, film criticism, film education, and training. Yeah, it also takes specialists to work in this area.
Do you implement AI in script writing? How you implement it? What do you do in this sort of thing?
Yeah, well, AI is such a huge ongoing conversation, and it's an ever-evolving thing for every industry. And in our case, I guess from my perspective, any use of AI in a text-based capacity is just a non-negotiable in terms of that's academically extremely unwise, let's say, and we have software that can detect these things, and so there's that side of it. There's ongoing conversations, I think, in the industry more broadly about, for example, a visual use of AI when it comes to storyboarding for a film's conception. What are the ethical parameters around that? And so I think our approach is partly to have a dialogue and a conversation in order to work out those parameters, because it's always evolving. But certainly from the point of view of screenwriting, it's the second thing I would say is that what the students have been very receptive on is that they understand, in my experience, that AI does not substitute creativity, and if you become too reliant on the sat-nav, you're then going to forget how to drive, basically. And so it's the journey and not the destination that matters. And so you have to have a love of writing in the first instance. And so if you wrote the perfect AI-generated script, you would have the feeling of emptiness, and I don't think it can ever be a substitute for the creative process. It's not going to sit around a table workshopping a script or do a script read-through or be able to apply text to performance in a meaningful human way. And I don't think it's what audiences want either, so...
Okay, you must be expecting a practical guide by now, right? How to enter the film and TV industry in London. Where to study, where to go, where to meet people. First, where do we begin? We decide where we want to go. Although this is often very difficult to do, cinema in London is dozens of different worlds. Of course, you should go to sites like Screen Skills, if you haven't already. See what kind of jobs are available there. There is a lot for you to examine. For example, they have a career map, detailed descriptions of roles, skills, and entry positions. Have artillery, degrees and courses. In London, of course. I highly recommend taking one of the programs at the school that really knows the industry and is recognized by employers. This is Central Film School. The campus is located in central London and is closely connected to the surrounding studios.
Yeah, I love this location, and actually it's really exceptional to have this. We have really, professional standard studio spaces, and to have this in Zone 2 of London is really exceptional. All the other film schools are either they don't have these facilities and they're more in the centre, or they're very, very, very far out.
They have a bunch of specialized courses directing, producing VFX, strong connections with the industry, and hands-on approach. They've got bachelor's and master's degrees, crash courses, plus film and practice in the city and surrounding areas. We are now approaching the first assignment, in which we'll be filming in the Clapham area. The goal is to film outdoors, that is on the street, in the yard, something like that, but specifically in that area. Importantly, a lot of masterclasses from companies take place in London, which can be visited, and you can come there, meet experts, listen, ask questions, network, attend masterclasses. Internships and entry-level positions are also announced there. London has a huge bias towards freelance and contractor work, therefore the classic office path doesn't work well there. Okay, sites like Screen Skills have UK-wide job listings in film, TV, VFX and post-production. My first job UK has a focus on entry-level jobs, runners, production assistants, interns. Royal Television Society, or RTS, is where you can find entry-level training or paid placement, so to speak. A lot of work can be found in social media groups. Practical steps. Create a portfolio already if you don't have one. This is what Central Film School can help you with, as well as with a clear CV and a list of projects. Student projects, amateur projects. If you want to go in the creative direction, you need showreels, scripts, examples of directing work. For VFX and editing, you'll need a demo reel in your software of choice. If you're already in London, you can volunteer or work on a short film for virtually no money. What can a student or festival film give you? Be listed in the credits, real recommendations and contacts, most importantly. Search and spam small independent productions. They often take runners and assistants. Post-prod studios in Soho host freelancers database, and you can get into that database if you write them and attend their events, crash their party, so to speak. Festivals and network in London. Do I need to tell you about London Film Festival, the country's main festival, one of the key ones in Europe? It takes place every autumn. In addition to shows, there is an industry forum, panel discussions, pitchings, meetings with producers, programs for young professionals. Doc and Roll, a festival of documentaries about music and subcultures. Networking around independent cinema is pretty cool, right? There are dozens of niche festivals where it's easier to meet those who actually make films and not just to walk the red carpet. Here on the wall, there are all the films. Find me in a crowd. There are all films made at the school, made at Central Film School. And this is some kind of horror movie.
Yeah, it was a comedy movie, actually.
Oh, right.
Well, they say it's a comedy. So, all of these, sorry about noise, all these posters, it's all films made here. We'll get back to you. There are a lot of amazing things actually. Our school often organizes all sorts of interesting events, like a Q&A with someone who did makeup. What is Q&A? Literally means questions and answers. First you sit and listen to everything that the invited guest from the industry wants to share, and then you can flood them with questions. Last year, when we were doing foundation, I always tried to come to this Q&A and ask questions that particularly concern me as a future professional. Oh, a new one. We continue our tour over the studios and being shown what equipment they have here for editing, for work, for practicing, for post-production, that is, for editing all this stuff. They have different studios with the latest equipment that the film industry has.
This one is set for animation as well.
Yeah, as part of the practical filmmaking program, in the first year, it's embedded within the third term. We have a module called animation and virtual production. So we use PC because we can access really high-end graphics cards. So when we're doing animation virtual production, because we're working a lot within Unreal Engine, it's really, really good to have, high-end graphic computers to build worlds, environments within that. So this is our ADR suite, but also a voiceover sound recording. So really this is where students will do post sound. The unique things about this room is, well, the biggest unique thing is that as you can see, we have a 7.1 surround sound system. So students are getting to understand how that works, which is good because, as we know, when we go to the cinema, most things are 7.1.
We have one more student common room. Here are the works of students and graduates. These are their graduate projects they worked on. You can see them here.
Cinematography it's a complicated topic, a complicated subject that can be very, very, very simple. It's about constructing the frame. It's about understanding movement within that frame. It's about understanding the movement of the frame. And all of that has to serve the story. It has to serve the script. And if your cinematography isn't serving the story, and if it's not serving the script, then it doesn't matter how fantastic your frame looks, it's not going to work. So I think as a cinematographer, you really have to understand.
Lately, I think just this year we finally got the opportunity to put up roles on Backstage sites for free, which normally we'd have to pay for, of course. It's an agency, but thanks to the school and the promo code which they shared with us, we have this amazing experience. Like if you shoot something on the side of the school, and especially in the school, and you need an actor who's 40 or 50 years old, you can always post it on the Backstage, and sooner or later someone will definitely come.